Hi, I'm Jane, and this is Courtney, and we're the co-founders of Ovee. We started Ovee because of our friend Maddie. When we met Maddie, she was just recently graduated from college, moved back home with her parents in a small town in Minnesota. She was experiencing extreme itching, an increase in vaginal discharge, as well as a fish-like odor. How many people here have had similar symptoms to Maddie? I definitely have. How many of you here were super freaked out just hearing these symptoms said out loud? Yeah, it was really awkward saying them on this stage. Now imagine how Maddie feels. She doesn't want to talk to her parents because she's too embarrassed, and the only doctor that she knows of at home is her childhood doctor, who automatically assumed that she wasn't even sexually active. So she did what most of us do, and she turned to Google. And the overly clinical information that she found there made her even more desperate for an alternative. So she ended up down this crazy rabbit hole of home remedies, one of which told her that she should take a yogurt-soaked tampon and put it into her vagina. This really freaked her out and honestly freaks me out too. And so she suffered for about a month before she was forced to talk to her doctor, and she found out that she has bacterial vaginosis, which is extremely common and very, very treatable. And let's be real, Maddie is not alone. We spoke to over 200 women who had similar experiences with avoiding seeking the care that they needed. And our current political and social climate makes it even more difficult for women. The constant stigmatization of women's sexual and reproductive health causes women to be left out of the conversation when it comes to their own bodies. And currently, the healthcare trends in the United States make it so that it's even harder for Maddie to find support in a town she lives in Minnesota. She has 0 OBGYNs for the 10,000 women that need them in her town. And the constant decrease in OBGYNs has created these resource deserts for over 19 million women. So the need for alternative resources is even more desperate. And even though there are a lot of companies working in this space, the fragmentation of all of these resources has made it even more difficult when Maddie's seeking support. After all of our user interviews and the research that we've conducted, we are motivated to create a central and inclusive space for women to find the resources that they need to navigate their sexual and reproductive health.
So like Jane had mentioned, we interviewed a lot of women, over 200, and what we found is that they're all mobile first. So like a lot of us, they spend their time on Instagram. So Maddie's scrolling Instagram one day, and she comes across an Ovee original GIF posted by her favorite podcast, The Lady Gang. From here, she's able to navigate to our mobile-first website, and establishing trust with Maddie is really important to us to maintain that relationship. So the first thing she sees when she comes to our site is a privacy policy. So we're not collecting any personal information from Maddie. All we're doing is collecting trends, and she needs to know that she can opt out of this at any time that she wants. So from here, she's directed to our personal search concierge, where Maddie is able to ask that question that she had about her vaginal itching without any judgment or stigma. She doesn't have to feel embarrassed talking about this. And using natural language processing, as well as all the data we've collected from the community, we're able to detect that she has a bacterial infection and direct her to our frequently asked questions page. Everything on this page is vetted by a medical professional, so she knows that she can trust this information. After Maddie explores our site, she comes to her own decision that she needs to see a medical professional. So we're able to provide her with a list of resources in her area based on her preferences. But after she gets back from the doctor, Maddie's still freaking out. How does she tell her boyfriend that she can't have sex for a week because she has an infection? If any of you have been there, it's really, really scary. So we're able to provide Maddie with some insight from a woman just like her who's had a similar experience. So Gabby's one of our community writers, and she's written Maddie a list of tips and tricks for how she can handle this situation. And she writes it in a tone that's really funny and digestible, so Maddie knows what to do. But Maddie also has even more concerns. She knows that her favorite scented brand of tampons might be further causing irritation, so she's desperately looking for alternatives. So Jane and I have been diligently testing organic tampons for Maddie so she doesn't have to, and we've written her a really transparent review of what we thought of them. But Maddie still isn't sure, so she signs up for our subscription box service, where we send Maddie a different option of organic tampons so she can test them before she decides what's right for her. So experimenting with this box and sending out these physical products, we've realized that not every problem has a strictly digital solution. So we've been organizing these roundtable events where women of the community can come in person and have these face-to-face conversations when they have a question about their health, so they feel supported by their community. So we're providing Maddie with all the resources she could possibly need. We're providing her with a supportive community, and we're also giving her something really important, trusted content. So we have an engaged user base right now. We're creating a culture of inclusivity and open dialogue so they can be supported throughout their journey.
With all that in mind, as a user-centered designer and developer, and both of us are former health scientists, we're building a team of passionate creators in order to make a real impact in the femtech space. We want our community to be as involved in the development of Ovee as possible, so much so that our inspiration initially, Maddie, has joined our team recently. Hi, Maddie. So far, we've had the opportunity to test our web-based prototype with over 150 women, and we've also had the opportunity to send out several boxes to about 25 users and test out that experience for them. And in October, we'll be taking in all of our feedback and launching our web beta, and our focus will be on accumulating more subscribers, so please go to ovee.me and subscribe to our newsletter. In November, we'll launch our crowdfunding campaign, and in January, we'll begin our seed round. And honestly, there's no better time than the present to build this with everything that's going on in our political system. We really want to change the narrative for women. And if you'd like to join us, please sign up at ovee.me. Thank you.